What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie recommendation. Today, we're going to go back to the year of our Lord, 2016, and talk about a film directed by Steven Kostanski and Jeremy Gillespie, and that is The Void. Oh my fucking God. Once again, I'll quickly talk about the movie VFW. It's a movie I neglected for maybe 2 years after it was put out, and when I finally watched it, I loved it. And I remember when The Void was first talked about, people were saying it's like The Thing, it's got this cool fucking Thing-like quality to it. And I'm a fucking huge fan of John Carpenter's The Thing, so I don't know why, but I never watched it for so long. And then last night, me and Kayla were sitting here going through fucking Amazon Prime because she forgot she had it. And oh, there's The Void. Let's watch The Void. And we put it on, and I'm so glad I did. The movie starts off, spoiler alert, all throughout the video, by the way, but the movie starts off with, a POV shot walking through this house, and then you see a dead body, and then you see this door with a triangle painted on the door, and then someone storms off, and then there's two dudes chasing him with guns. And we cut from there to this police officer who's just totally bored out of his fucking mind, sitting there on the edge of the road. And he sees the guy that was running away from the two shooters, and he's all injured, and he picks him up and takes him to the hospital, and that's where the rest of the film is set, at this hospital that's totally short-staffed. They're in the process of moving, and there's a few nurses there, there's a doctor, and of course there's a couple of patients. There's a pregnant woman, pregnant teenage lady with her grandpa. And so once our police officer arrives at the hospital, he I don't know if it's right then when he first sees one of the cloaked figures, but he takes the guy into the hospital, gets him checked out, and as he's sort of just talking to his wife who works there, that they had a miscarriage or some shit, but he's talking to her, and then all of a sudden the guy starts going nuts. This guy that was running from the shooters is going fucking ballistic. And there's another nurse that kills a patient. She's under the spell or whatever the fuck it is. Kills a patient. Our cop kills him and then passes out. And then another cop arrives, this old guy who's useless as fuck, takes our guy's gun, and is just a bit of a prick, but he ends up getting fucking murdered not too far later into the film. But our two guys who are the initial shooters from that household at the beginning, they arrive, and there's all these cloaked, very creepy looking cult fucking figures standing out in the parking lot, and they all kind of move in unison and shit like that. It's very creepy. And if that was cool enough in my opinion, but then as I'm watching it, I'm hey, when are we going to get to some of this The Thing type shit? And holy fuck, when it happened, and we're talking practical effects here. We're talking awesome practical effects. There is digital effects, you can tell, but there's a lot of practical, and that is something that I take my hat off to, clap, all that shit, because it's a dying art. People nowadays, they make a movie and they don't give a fuck. They're let's do that in post, and it looks like dog shit, and our movie's fucking laughable, and no one's gonna watch it. They'll watch 10 minutes and go. The second that I start seeing fake blood, it turns me off, because it's you lazy pieces of shit. You couldn't spare a few fucking minutes to fuck up a couple of shirts. Go to the store, get a couple of cheap shirts, and figure it out. Make it look good. Fake blood looks like shit. Excuse me, CG blood looks like shit. Fake blood looks fucking great. This movie is great, man. So it all turns out that our doctor, who ends up getting killed, but then comes back through his through the void kind of thing, and starts peeling his skin off and all that shit. But that's just part of it. This movie kind of gives me vibes of Hellraiser in a way. And it also kind of gave me vibes of that last season of fucking Stranger Things with the main bad guy. I forget what his name was in the film, but that's what this doctor eventually ends up looking like that, basically. And once that happens, there's a scene where his daughter, who is this old doctor impregnated the girl. It's found out that is his baby. And the daughter thinks she's, I'm gonna be the queen, this and that. But no, her body is just fucking torn apart by the baby inside, and it comes out, instantly expands Akira style, and just fucking turns into a huge monster, nasty. And they end up killing it, or they think they kill it. And a lot of the spookiness happens at near the ass end of the film, where they go into the morgue area, and there's all these fucking really cool demented demons or deadies, whatever you want to call them, you know, just like really creative looking stuff and just very spooky shit. So there's also some weird sort of like almost psychological hallucination type shit happening, because there's this one kid that never really talks through the whole film. He's one of the shooters from earlier in the film. And he's like walking through the basement, and then all of a sudden he's like in his house. And then he's attacked by his friend, and then he, you know, shit goes south from there. But yeah, it's weird because there's a scene where like the cop, like our main cop, he goes, "Oh, I got a shotgun in the car and ammo and supplies and stuff. It's just parked outside." And they go outside, and the car's like parked like fucking 10 miles away, might as well be. But of course they get surrounded by these cult-like figures. But it's all to do with like this triangle symbol. And there's a bit of that shit where like they go into the doctor's office, find all these photos of experiments gone wrong and shit like that. Of course it was a good time, man. I think The Void is one that I wish I had watched back then, because it would have sort of restored hope with me. Because like I know that I may sound negative from time to time talking about like the state of new movies, like, and they are shit, but this really gave me hope again, even though it's from like 5, 6, 7 years ago. But there's still many more films that I've yet to watch. And like that's the thing, like I've never once said that I'm the fucking be all end all knowledge fucking wisdom wizard of horror. Like I know what I know, and I know what I love, and it's great because I get to watch all this shit. Especially like I'm a big advocate of the 1970s, and there's still like hundreds of films that I've not seen from that era. And you know, even the 80s, like I love the 80s horror and stuff, but I think 70s just had better stuff, you know. And it wasn't just horror, like everything from like Death Wish to fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, The Warriors, Dawn of the Dead, Zombie, fucking Deep Red. Like there's just so many good films from the 70s that are like good from start to end. Not like nowadays where you pop in a fucking movie and there's one scene in the whole movie that's worth a shit. And I know that a lot of people, you know, they'll give the movie you know, they'll give it a chance, watch the whole thing, and then bitch for 25 minutes about how bad it was. And it's like, no, once I pop in a film and I see certain tropes, man, it's hard for me to continue, because I've just been duped way too many times on apps like Netflix and Tubi and all that kind of shit. Like Tubi is like the supreme streaming service in my opinion at this point. Like Netflix is garbage. It has nothing. I got rid of Netflix. I've been meaning to get Shudder again just to see what they got for exclusives and shit like that. But you know, we live in a strange time, and like, you know, there's a lot of good companies, Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow. There's these new ones from, or there's a new one from Australia. Shout out to VZ Madness. It's called Umbrella. So it's cool that they got their own company and shit. Like I wish we got like a Vinegar Syndrome or a Synapse or like some kind of thing. Like we have Black Fawn, but I mean like they're putting out like new shit like that they create through like their just like, you know, their company. But you know, I wish there was a branch up here, because then it would make shipping costs so less, man. Because we get fucking like shimbazzled up here. We get bent over fucking dry with no Vaseline, like Jerry Heller and fucking Eazy-E and all that shit. But goddamn, The Void, highly recommended. With that being said, I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. And with that being said, adios.